So now we have a model and we pass it to the view controller. We have a button. When we click on the button, it responds and says show last name table in the log. Now we actually need to do that. So I'll select the nib so that when I choose File, New File, it will come right at the bottom of the list. And this time, want to make sure that you have a table view controller, and we want this nib selected. Make sure that, well, for instance, you don't have, some other subclass here. Notably, let's see, yours might say UI view controller like that, but you don't want this UI view controller. This time we want table view controller. And let's see what I want to call mine. We'll use this name, last name view controller. Here we go. Next, and create it. So here it is. Now when you make the table view controller, different methods are given to us. Let's see, the init is slightly different. It's init with style, and there's no other parameters there. We of course will add our own single parameter that is the model itself. But let's see, we have number of sections in the table view, number of rows in a section, and what the actual cell is, cell for row at index path. We'll talk about those here shortly. First, let's see if we can get the table to be displayed. So in the viewController.m, here's our show last name table method. Add a bit of code there. This should look reasonably familiar. Right now I have red dot. It must mean that I haven't imported this last name view controller. So I'll go to the .h file and add that import. That should make those red dots go away. Yes. So as mentioned, we have the init with style method, but this line is as before, and this line is as before. So once we create this new view controller, we'll try to display it. Let's see what happens with this. Click on the button, and yes, here's our table. Doesn't have anything in it yet. We'll put something simple there, and then in the following video we'll connect it up with our model. But let's go for something simple right now in the last name view controller. First, we have this little warning with the hash mark. Since we're heeding the warning, I'll comment that one out and change the number of sections in the table view from 0 to 1. And here, the number of rows in the section, well, let's make 4. Now, configure the cell. We need to create a string and save it in the cell. This boilerplate up above will make sure that we have one allocated. You don't have to change that code, but we do need to set the text of the label that's in the cell. So here's a simple way. We'll use a string with format I. That'll be an integer that is the row of the cell that's been clicked on. And so let's see what happens with this. There. It's our table. We have these 4 rows, and so you can see from that, if we changed the number from 4 to 40, then we'll have 40 rows. So the next thing to do is change this so that information from the model will be displayed rather than just this test data. We'll do that in the next video.